Christine Moretti. I am a patient advocate with the ALS Association Greater Philadelphia chapter. I was diagnosed with a rare form of ALS called PLS, primary lateral sclerosis. I'd like to thank the chapter for inviting me to be part of this Help and Hope series and for letting me speak about something that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is ALS research. This format is certainly different than how I envisioned the Help and Hope Symposium that was to have taken place this month, and of course, as everyone knows, was canceled due to the coronavirus outbreak. For everyone watching, I hope that you are doing well and staying safe. The COVID-19 pandemic in this country and around the world is a surreal and frightening time, especially for an already vulnerable and isolated ALS community. We must do everything possible to keep ourselves safe. Social distancing is not normal human behavior. I, for one, miss seeing my sons in person and being able to give them a hug. But I hope for many of you, with people working for your families, working from home remotely, and children being home from school, that you are surrounded by extra love and attention. So, to weave together COVID-19 and the topic of ALS research, I highly recommend watching the NEALS webinar from March 27th entitled Impact of COVID-19 on ALS Clinical Research. It's a highly informative webinar in this very unprecedented time. It was reassuring to hear that ALS research continues. ALS researchers are meeting virtually, conducting lab meetings, and continuing with data analysis. Thankfully, there is lots going on behind the scenes. I think that this virus will fundamentally change how this country moves forward. And from what I gathered from the webinar, that includes the structure of many ALS clinical trials. Ultimately, this could be a very positive outcome for ALS patients. Changes to clinical trials could include such things as remote consent, virtual visits, visiting nurses to assess patients, in-home blood collection, use of equipment to track progression, speech, and breathing. Ultimately, reducing the burden of expense and travel. For those of you who are not familiar with NEALS, it stands for Northeast ALS Consortium and is spearheaded by Dr. Richard Bedlack of Duke University. To view this webinar from March 27th, past webinars, and to find out information on upcoming webinars, please visit www.neals.org. On April 8th, there will also be a webinar on the highly anticipated Healy Platform trial. NEALS is an easy-to-use site for all information regarding clinical trials, past, present, actively recruiting, and upcoming. Another brainchild of Dr. Bedlack's is a site called ALSuntangled.com. This site lists reviewed, off-label, and alternate treatments that you may have heard about or read about so that you can make an informed decision. One last item in connection with Dr. Bedlack is a website called Patients Like Me, where you can join an online ALS community and be part of upcoming research, all from the comfort of your own home. On a personal note, I would just like to thank Dr. Piera Passanelli from the Jefferson Weinberg ALS Center for inviting me to become a NEALS certified ALS ambassador, and to Dr. Terry Hyman Patterson from the ALS Hope Foundation for hosting the weekend seminar last summer that made that happen. We are extremely fortunate in the Philadelphia region to have outstanding ALS clinics and research labs conducting ongoing trials in our own backyard. To view a list of this research that is going on in our area, please check out the chapter's webpage. And if you haven't done so already, I'd urge you to register with the National ALS Registry at www.cdc.gov. There you can become part of a worldwide ALS research effort as your data is shared with researchers around the globe. You will also find clinical trial information and up-to-date research. Once you're registered, you will be kept apprised of upcoming research opportunities via email, such as drug interventional trials, observational and biomarker studies, opportunities to provide biomarker such as blood, saliva, and stool samples, complete surveys, and much, much more. You'll be surprised at the number of research opportunities that you can do from the safety of your own home. When I was diagnosed, I will never forget hearing the words, "You have a motor neuron disease," and how that changed my life forever. Having dealt with some other medical issues in my life, uterine cancer, a meningeal brain tumor that causes seizures, this time around, I knew I had a very different kind of fight on my hands, but I knew I wanted to pay it forward and become involved with ALS research so that hopefully my contributions could make hearing those words not so devastating. I have been fortunate to participate in approximately 20 trials and studies. It has been a privilege to be part of such massive efforts as Dr. Trainer's genetic characterization of movement disorders and dementia at NIH, the CAB biomarker study, where I visited Dr. Simmons' team at the Penn State Milton S. Hershey Medical Center, genomic translation for ALS care at Columbia University, donating stem cells at Mass General, and visiting the Jefferson Weinberg ALS Center every few months to continue to donate my biofluids. I am also proud to be the first PLS patient to be enrolled in Answer ALS, where I have been fortunate to learn about my genetic profile through this global research effort. And what will be my final contribution to science? Donating my brain for research. My papers are on file with the tissue bank at the Jefferson Weinberg ALS Center. With each and every study that I enrolled in, I felt empowered. I felt the joy of participation and being part of something bigger than myself. We find ourselves in circumstances we never dreamt of with this disease. And maybe being part of research is a way of turning something negative into a big positive. Currently, I am part of what is essentially a nationwide study of the first round of patients on the second approved ALS drug, Radicava. Radicava was developed by MT Pharma. It is a free radical scavenger that reduces oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is thought to be one of the causes of nerve cell death in ALS. Radicava was approved in May 2017 for all ALS patients in the U.S. It was being fast-tracked by the FDA using data from the Japanese Phase 3 double-blind clinical trial that showed slowing of progression of 33% in those patients receiving the drug versus placebo. Radicava is delivered by infusions. I have in port. I get infusions 10 out of 14 days a month, 14 days off, and then the cycle repeats itself. I have been receiving infusions since October of 2017. It takes about an hour. I've had 0 side effects. In fact, I find it very beneficial. MT Pharma has a patient portal called Searchlight Support, which helps patients navigate the insurance process. Once your doctor has submitted your script and your application, you and your clinic can work together with the Searchlight Support Team support member to help get your insurance approved and your infusions set up. If you are denied the first time around, persistence is the key. The vast majority of ALS patients do get approved. There is a very informative article on the slowing of progression with the use of Radicava on ALS News Today. ALS News Today is a reliable source of ALS news. The article is called Radicava effective in slowing progression across year of use, trial data shows. I urge anyone who is interested in trying Radicava to speak with your neurologist. We must be our own best advocate. A slowing of a third is significant. It could help us be here for the next big breakthrough. For me personally, I'm in for whatever it takes to prolong my time to be with my family. And remember, we must be our own best research advocates as well. Persistence is also the key there. If you don't get an answer to your first email, send another one. The research coordinators are extremely busy, but these trials are desperate to fill with patients. So please feel free to be the squeaky wheel. And speak to your neurologist if you are interested in research opportunities and let them know of your desire to contribute. In closing, I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my passion for research with you. We are the generation of ALS patients that could change the course of ALS forever. To quote Gandhi, be the change you wish to see in the world. We can do this. We just have to believe. Please stay safe. Thank you.